Good afternoon, everyone. How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining us for the first of our series of Career Guidance Hour. This is our first of many. So this is a very relaxed session that we'll be having today. Some of us have, some of you guys I know would have met me before, probably during school and so forth. So I'd promise you this particular hour. So this week, is Career Week. And most of you subscribers, you would have been mainly in what grades 11, 12, and 13. So this is indeed a very critical time of your life. So we are offering this particular service from Enroll JA just to help you guys. We know, as I said before, it can be very challenging at times in terms of, you're preparing for CSEC, preparing for CAPE, and having to decide exactly what to do. So we have this session for you just to come ask some questions. We see how best we can guide you. It will be a very short but great session. We have a speaker who would speak a little bit about his particular career, his experience from high school to university to working, and exactly what he's doing now, all in the name of trying to help you guys in terms of what you want to do. So thank you so much for being here once again. Some of you are doing online school, some of you face to face. So some of you I know will be pretty much kind of tired. So as I said before, this is a very relaxed hour. Naturally, we would want persons to mute their mics, especially if you have background. I know most of you will be home right now. I know sometimes persons talking in the background or baby a lot of that. We don't want to hear that. But if you want to ask a question, yes, if you want to ask a question, you can unmute. There's a chat portal. We have persons on YouTube. So thank you so much for joining here. So if it's that case where this session is full or the room is full, you can encourage your friends to join on YouTube. And in that same stead, encourage them. Send a WhatsApp message telling that Enroll JA is here to help you to see how best we can guide in terms of career selections and all of that. So we have a number of persons here, and we know that the numbers will grow as the afternoon pass on. So what I want to do a high school roll call. So we have persons from all over the island. So this Enroll JA platform, even a ground where you can meet with people, meet, exchange ideas, probably meet some friends, and for them to share their particular experience. So what we want to do right now is a little fun session where we have high school shout out. So we want persons just to type in the chat or maybe unmute and just let us know which high school they are from. See who's representing most today. So be free. Send me your message. Persons on YouTube can do the same. Just send me a message or unmute and just indicate to me what high school you're all coming from today. St. Thomas Technical is in the house. St. Thomas going for Teachfield. Of course, my friends in the eastern side of Jamaica won't get left out. Bridgeport is here. Awesome class. Yes. Who else? Who else is here? Who else is representing here? As I said before, you are free to unmute and just shout out the name of your school. Garvin Maseo, cool. St. Hughes. Awesome. Manning School. So we have persons right across the island. McGrath is representing in the house today. Let me see who can outdo.
Camperdown High.
All right, Camperdown. Unmuting and everything.
Another Camperdown here.
All right, Ashanti.
BC.
Welcome. Hampton is here. Who else?
BC.
Keep coming, man. Spalding High School, Grace. I see that my counselors, your counselors who are to be your resident friends at your high school, have been working with me very much. And thank you guys for subscribing. Let me say that. And we have a particular goal at Enroll because at the end of the day, hey Westwood, what's up? We want everybody to win. So if you have friends, encourage them to enroll. We know that you can shout out if you wish the grade you're in, if you're in grades 11, 12, 13, or 10, I don't know, you can do all of that. But we're trying to get persons from at least 50 at minimum from every single high school right across the island. And we're starting from students from grade 9. Because guess what? You know that at the grade 9 level, that is when you start to make your subject selection and start to think creatively about your career. But unfortunately, what we realize, some persons just choose subjects randomly, They just choose subject because they like a subject, but they don't really choose it to that plan. And that is why we are here. We want you to plan a number of persons in my age group. All right, so persons here from grade 11. A number of persons from my age group pretty much reached ninth grade. Awesome. So Kyla Ellis is in ninth grade. I wanted to encourage more of your friends to subscribe. So please, the minimum target is at least 50 students from every high school. So please send out those messages. I know you would have had our number. Some of you would have had promo messages, some flyers. Send them out, encourage persons to join, because we want to ensure that persons are prepared. When they select their subjects, they're selecting with some kind of sense and understanding. And regarding scholarship, some of you would have gotten a notification from us regarding, so we have some grade 12 and grade 13 persons. Awesome. So we have a perfect representation. You would have gotten some notice about scholarship. So for those who had subscribed, you can check go and log into your account. Only persons that subscribe can actually view the scholarship. So you have to subscribe to the platform, and then you'll get the option. It's hidden in the scholarship. We'll be creating a unique tab, hopefully by tomorrow, so you can easily access it. But if you go in the tab that says resources, that is where you'll see the list. So we'll be updating that particular feature by tomorrow. So it'll be easier for you to identify. So we want persons to know about them scholarships and the grant opportunities, and we really wanted to start applying for them right now from early. Your transition outside of high school don't have to be as hectic as some persons make it seem. Help yourself in terms of getting some financing. So we want more persons. So as we go along, we speak more about that and everything. So once again, thank you so much for those who are here. As I say, take up your phone, message a friend, call somebody, let them know that NROJA is in the house. We are here to help you guys get your questions ready. We'll try as best as possible. In the case where we get some questions and we may not know the answer on the spot, we'll promise to do some quick research for you and get back to you with the correct answers in turn, depending on whatever you ask. So we have that particular commitment. All right, let's get right into the show. Persons, you can still shout out your school. We're still doing the school shout out. Why so much persons quiet? Shout out the school that you're from, and we hope that we'll get some more persons on board.
Alphonsus Davis High School.
Hampton is here. Awesome. That's great. All right. Yeah, so encourage more persons to come.
Alphonsus Davis High School.
Alphonsus Davis High School. Was that what was said?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Whoa, I have never heard about that school. Where are you guys from?
Man, Clarendon is Spalding.
Okay, is that a private school?
Former Spalding's High School.
Oh, wait the man, don't that stress me out for. I never know that the school name changed. Okay, cool. I need to record that. I didn't know. I didn't know that they had to change the name. Okay, all right. Thank you so much for being here. All right, so let us straight into a quick presentation. Most of you would have heard us speak about this before, and for those who have never heard me speak, you know that I'm a very frank person. I like to be with my students in terms of what is it that they need to do in terms of their career selection, and giving them what I would call probably a dose of reality in terms of what is it that they should be expecting. Somebody was saying something? No. Okay. All right. So this part is called. All right. Somebody probably needs to unmute a little bit for me. Okay. All right. So college and career selection. Today's reality. So what I call this little section is so you're ready for college, right? Some persons will be ready to select courses. Some persons will be ready to do CSEC or so forth. So for everybody, this is a critical time of your life, a very, very critical, very important time of your life. So what are some of the realities that you're facing? So I found, all right, somebody saying something?
My meeting, enroll JA meeting.
Repeat for me.
Yes.
Okay, somebody probably speaking to somebody in the back. Okay, all right. So I saw a little article in the newspaper a few weeks ago, and this is how it starts. So the title of it, the opening line rather of the letter was I'm a millennial from rural Jamaica who graduated university 3 years ago. I wonder if the considerable amount of time I spent gaining an education, professional experiences, and general skills that are suited to become a well-rounded and robust participant in Jamaica workforce was worth it. All right, so obviously this guy left university, has his degree and everything, and he can't find jobs, which is a reality for a lot of persons. And he's wondering, what is it really worth it? And it's something that a lot of persons has been asking. I always give this particular scenario, as it were. It's a reality in terms of what is it that you guys will be facing right after leaving university. So I'm even beyond high school, after leaving university. And I could even say high school, right? The odds in my assessment are automatically stacked against you guys. It's a harsh reality, but it's really stacked against you in terms of careers and what needs to be. I always tell young people that at this point, you can't be viewing your career selection or what is it that you want to do, like say a grade 7 student or so, a grade 6 student, or I want to be a fireman because I love people, I want to save them, and all of that sort of thing. And there's another thing that persons would say in terms of what is it that they do in terms of selecting their career. So they say, I have a passion for a particular subject, therefore I'm going to do it, right? I always say you don't really have a passion for the particular career, because for a passion, you have to experience something, and it's from the experience that they develop a passion. So you can't have a passion for medicine, for law, for teaching, or so forth. You probably have an idea, right? And oftentimes, the idea that you guys have is not based on what I call proper research. Now, this is why it's important for you to understand what is it that you're getting yourself into in terms of deciding to pursue a degree, deciding to pursue a certificate. So each year, the University of the West Indies would send out roughly, in terms of graduates, probably graduate roughly 1,000, maybe 2,000 students or so forth. University of Technology, probably 1,000. The Michael University College, probably 500, and there's UCC, probably another 700. There's NCU and all of that, right? So there are a lot of tertiary institutions in Jamaica. In terms of registered institutions, according to UCG, there are 81 registered tertiary institutions in Jamaica. Now, with these hundreds of thousands of persons leaving the classroom every single year, my question to you, a very frank question, where is it that they're going to get work? Quite simple. Do you think the job market realistically can consume all of these persons? And the fact is that you're not only competing with persons who graduated in that particular year. So you're competing with persons who have graduated, say, a year before, 2 years before, 3 years before. You understand? You're competing for jobs, you're competing for opportunities with persons who don't only have an academic qualification, but they have experience. And in most cases, experience even trumps academic. So you see what I'm saying, that when you leave a university or college or so forth, the odds are automatically stacked against you because the competition is rough. So the decision to pursue a particular career can't be just based on, oh, me feel like it, I just like a subject, I just follow my passion. No, it has to be based on research, as you're bound to fall into that category, that realistic category of bright young people in Jamaica who does have a degree and sit down on them yard. Yeah, that's what I say, quite frankly. So you can't just say, oh, me like animals, so I'm going to be a zoologist. Not saying not to be a zoologist, but why? Like, who employing zoologists? That's your question. If I get this degree, and this is the trouble a lot of persons have, in that persons would consider just going to university and just getting degree and they feel all good about themselves. But they don't think about the what after. After me get the degree, what go reach me? How me I go get through in all of them sort of things here, right? So that's what I'm saying, that when you leave, it's going to be stuck. So there are some key tactics that you have to use, right? There's another saying I like to say to students, it probably hurts them, but I think it's better you feel bad right now and gear up yourself. Oftentimes, your person will say, oh, you're so special. I always make reference to this particular song persons sing. I am a promise, I am a potentiality, something like that. Somebody can help me out. I'm a great big bungalow, all of them things there, and you feel good in yourself and you're special. But the reality is that when you leave high school and when you leave university in particular, you begin to seek a job or support, you'll find out that you're really only special to your parents. It's sad. You're special to your loved ones. Nobody cares when you go out there. Nobody cares, oh, because I have a degree, I must get a job or anything like that. It doesn't happen. It doesn't exist like that. Unless you can present yourself as an asset to a person. You know what is an asset? An asset is something that you can't do without, right? You want to ensure that you're a person that if a person employs me, I'm providing more than just the basic job. Me does not come every day. You understand? So there are some key tactics that you must need. And I just even mentioned one to you in terms of what you need to do to survive all of this. So we are saying go get the certificate, go get the degree, but it alone will not do. There are other tactics, there are other initiatives, there are other ways of approaching this reality. The first thing is get back to basics. What I mean by get back to basic? Back to basic is satisfying the basic academic requirement, right? So unfortunately, we seem today that it has become somewhat fashionable for persons to blast the merits of pursuing an academic qualification, right? And sometimes there's good reason for them to feel like this, because the reality is that most of us will look outside and realize that people who don't necessarily have an academic qualification, but them a hustler, them seem to be making it, right? Some people will say, boy, look at this scammer them and live the life and all of them sort of thing. Why am I going to pursue academics? And to be honest, it is a fair assessment, right? It is a fair assessment, but one approach or one way in which I can address it is that you always hear Jamaica say, puss and dog don't have the same luck, right? So those things that you may see somebody making, it might happen to you. At the end of the day, you know, if luck runs out on them, because that's scam, I realize, boy, bad man, I try kill a police, I try kill your friend, I try kill everybody. It must be very stressful, right? But at the end of the day, you want to have a degree at least as a backative, as a foundation, right? Consider a house. Consider degree as the foundation to your house, in that when you have a house, every now and again, you may change your window, you may change your door, you may change your bulb, you may change something. But what never changes in a house is a foundation, because that is what is set under. So irrespective of, even if you don't want to go the full academic route, you want to be a DJ, you want to be a singer or something, it's always good, people, it's always safe to just have some academic qualification, because if push come to shove, really and truly, that is what you're going to fall on. So I'm not going to say, boy, everything is guaranteed once you have the degree, because it's a dime a dozen. But at least having that degree, if the primary goal you may have, so you probably want to start your business, if that no fall through, boy, at least you have something you can fall back on. So consider it like that. Have the degree as your basics, as the basis on which you're going to launch into something else. So that's what I mean. To get back to basic, get the degree. You're in grade 11 now. Just get the C-Sec done. You have 5 C-Sec to get, right, in a few weeks. Pretty much. If you're in sixth form, get the K, get the degree, get the certification, because at least you can fall back. So I'm not going to say again that it guarantees you success, but at least you have a foot if anything should happen, right? Another important thing that I encourage person in terms of surviving this reality is that stay in the loop, be in the know. If I should ask anybody right now, right? Let me throw this question. Say you have the opportunity to unmute. Who sing the song Crocodile Teeth?
I don't
Skilly bang.
Skilly bang.
Skilly
All right.
bang.
Skilly, you see everybody a fight for coming in right now. All right, ask another question. All right.
Bang.
All right, Skilly Bang. Who is the Minister of Finance?
Nigel Clark.
Nigel Clark.
Yeah, man. Some persons here, people tell him just a while ago, you know, me know that happening, you know, because you know, come very slow on that one. So you're correct. It's Nigel Clark. All right. The reason I ask this sort of question is that it's easy for you. All right, we're living a time, right, where entertainment and news that is entertaining is the piece that makes the forefront, that makes the front page. See, recently, this I'm sure most of you see this girl from overseas who used Gorilla Glue in her hair and have all kind of problem and everything. So everybody talking about all of that. So that's the sort of content that reach you more and more. But my advice to you guys is say, have your fun, listen to your music and everything like that. But keep in the back of your mind, you know, that you see the more you spend time, your stream is Skilly Bang and your Jade and your Sensi and all them things, enjoy yourself. The more you stream is the more them rich, you know, you still broke, you know, reach nowhere yet. So it is worthwhile for you to not only get information that is about entertainment, but no, stay in the loop, know who are run things. You understand what I'm saying? We live in a society where we like to talk about the system and the system that, but who run the system? We don't even know. We don't know who are the movers or shakers in the system, what causes what to happen, what entity caused what to happen, but we just get up and complain, right? And without that sort of knowledge, it's going to be very hard for you to kind of maneuver around some of the realities that you'll be facing. So it's always good to stay in the know. So sometime today, it has become somewhat fashionable, right? That's not it. Another trend, I mean, unfortunately accepted by a lot of persons is not knowing, right? So as mentioned before, you have persons who complain about the system, complain so something not go right. But just be in the know, watch the news, and I always tell people it's not okay not to know anything else. And if I should ask some of you, what is it that you want to do? But if I should ask you, say, a lot of person want to be a business person. But if I ask you, what does PSOJ mean? You don't even know. And these are the entities that run business. You understand? So when you have them little know-how here and all of that sort of thing, it gives you the advantage in that you'll be a step ahead of persons who, as I said before, would have the same qualifications. But because you have a little edge, you know something, you know somebody who you can go to. And pretty much that would lead into my next point, which is the importance of networking. So oftentimes you hear persons complain about, boy, a man just get a bus just because they know somebody if I never links. My advice to you people is go and know people too. Quite simple. Know as much persons as possible, right? Network. The informal way of saying it is links, but the proper way you can say will be network. Network, right?
About Corona.
But Corona, you can network online, man. Network online. I know that most of you in terms of social media, you follow sort of somebody who follow DJ again, all that. And not that I'm speaking against them, but we know the things that you are most focused and you're most attracted to. Follow people. If you say you want to be a journalist, you must follow a television station. You must follow a television personality. You understand? But you know, some of my gentlemen say, boy, they want to become a soldier and all of that. You must follow JDF. You can't say you want to be involved in that sort of thing and you don't know nobody who run the thing. You understand? Next thing you're on the road and you pass somebody at a setting and you pass a person that can make things happen for you. You understand what I'm saying? No, people, forget about being shy. At the end of the day, nobody cares. Nobody cares of you being shy. There's a saying that says fortune favors the brave. So you have to be bold, people, network, meet the people them that really matter. Again, just having the academic qualification will guarantee you nothing in terms of careers in today's day and age. You have to network, build a network, know people, follow people. There's a platform called LinkedIn. I know that a lot of persons probably don't join LinkedIn, but it's great for you to meet persons who are in the fields that you are interested in going, right? The last point is to monetize your talent. Make money. So this is not all about having to pursue a degree to go and work for somebody. You must know how to make money. If you have a talent, if you can draw, find out you can sell a drawing. If you can cook, find somewhere you can cook and make some money of it. And regardless of what is your somebody raising hand, regardless of what is your career field, whether you want to go study medicine or law, those traditional things, find somewhere in which you can be entrepreneurs in those areas as well, right? So it's not only about, oh, me I go look at work, so find somewhere to make some money, man. So we're not saying if you have a talent, if you can sing, find somewhere to make money. These are survival tactics that we want you to kind of adapt in terms of what is it that you want to do. So I trust that this is a talk meant something to you. If you wish, you can open the floor. You have something to add, you want to ask a question, you can do so before we go to our official speaker will speak a little bit about what he's doing and his journey throughout a tertiary institution and yeah, whatever advice he has for us. So you're free to open the floor if you have any questions.
Me, sir.
Go right ahead.
Sir, if you can make our appointment, sir, we have to sign up.
Repeat for me.
So if you're gonna make an appointment, sir, we have to sign up on the app that I was talking about.
Make an appointment for what?
For the app.
I don't understand what you're speaking about. All right, tell you what. Type a direct question to me. Read my name. Just type it to me alone. Go in the chat feature and type a direct question to me, and we'll see exactly what it is. I don't quite understand what you're saying with it. All right. Anybody else have any questions? All right. Let me jump right to then our speaker. We'll have a kind of other wrap session in the after. So if you have any other career interested questions or related questions, say in terms of subject selection, if you're selecting the right subjects or based on the subjects you have, what career you think is best, you can ask all of that sort of questions. So we'll soon reach that part. I don't know, somebody saying something?
Yes, sir.
Sir, which career is best?
What career is best?
Yes, sir.
There's no career that is a best, right? It all depends on exactly what you want to do, right? So every careers have their advantages and every career have their disadvantages, right? So that is why a part of the conversation we're saying it's important for you to do your research. So we don't want you to look at a man and just because you see him drive a big car and you have a big house, as you say, that is the career for me. Or even, and I think the students in grades 12, 11, and 12 will even understand even more. Not because they like a particular subject area, right? Say you like biochemistry, that means you're going to like being a doctor. There are other factors that go and determine all of that. So you're not saying not to pursue it, but do the research. Every career has your ups, everything has your downs. It's important though that you consider what are the realities, the current realities, right? That will determine exactly the experience you may have in terms of doing all of that, right? I am now going to invite Mr. Michael Marshall. Now, Mr. Marshall,
Sir.
go ahead.
But in the future, robots are going to mostly take over everything, sir.
So you can consider a career in that area. So you're not going to have only robots taking over and all that, right? There are a lot of different areas that you can consider. But you are one, if you are one who's keen on doing the sciences, if you are one keen on that sort of thing, by all means, do the research and do your thing, right? But remember, there will be other activities going on. But that's a great area to focus on in terms of that. All right, let me invite Mr. Marshall to come in, and right after he's finished, we can continue with other questions here. I see Karen typing. Right after, I'll just respond to that. So you can use the chat and use the chat and send in questions both on YouTube and
Yes.
on the Zoom platform. All right, so Mr. Michael Marshall. All right, currently, quick introduction. So Mr. Marshall is an economist, right? He has his career is focused in the business area, having worked and still work at the Bank of Jamaica, but he's currently overseas doing his advanced degree. So he has been working in the field for quite some time, and he has some awesome advice. So you tell you a little bit about his experience, why he's doing what he's doing, and some general tips. And for you to consider, because we have trod the path that you are currently treading, we have been there, we have done that, and based on our experience, we can give you, I think we can give you some advice in terms of what to do. So, Mr. Michael will take the floor, and he's still talking to you for about 15 minutes or so forth, and after that, we'll have a Q&A again.
Hello. Good
You're
evening.
loud and clear, sir.
I think also, Sir John say you probably have to monitor the waiting room as well. Seems like I have control of the waiting room right now.
Yeah, you're co-host right now, so that's why. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So good evening again. I guess I have a script here to go by, because if you leave me here, I might just talk for the whole night. So I'm going to try to keep to my script. But first off, I would just like to find out from anyone in this group here do economics currently, studying economics.
I'm doing microeconomics as a module.
What grade are you in?
I'm in my first year of university.
Oh, okay. What university is that?
UTech.
Okay, great. Anyone at the high school level doing it? Economics?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What school? I'll shout out your school as well.
Montego Bay High School for girls.
Okay. All right. Like a couple people doing it. Okay, so I guess in general, for those who might be, unfamiliar with economics, it's really a study of the different agents, if you will. So persons, businesses, the government, and how these agents interact and in solving this problem. Now, within society, there's this problem. Now, people have unlimited wants. You want things. You always want things. But if you notice, the resources to make things are limited. So there's this problem that we have, as people, we face. How if we have oil scarce, land scarce, we have a limited, finite amount of things. How then can we meet everybody's needs on these scarce resources? So basically, that is what the study of economics is really trying to answer those questions and how we interact. So how you interact with businesses, why you choose to, why you buy an iPhone, why you don't buy a Nokia. You know, what causes an iPhone price to be that high, but you still buy it. All of these things we study. And it's a broad area, broad field, a number of different sub-disciplines. But essentially, what we try to do is try to predict what different people, businesses, the government, what we try to predict the behavior. What will you do next? And then from that, if we can predict that well, then we can see how, when we change things in the economy, what will happen in the future. And then we can stop things like, for instance, we can reduce the likelihood of things like a recession happening. Now, this is not a traditional area that you'd hear about. You know, growing up, you most likely hear about being a lawyer, being a doctor, teacher. So, you know, even for me, in high school, I went through high school and I didn't know about it until I signed up for the actual course. And with that, I guess I would just jump in to give you a little idea of my struggles as a high school student, and then, you know, how pretty much I decided to pursue economics. So I hear a person ask earlier that which career is the best. You know, I was a Johnson would provide the answer, you know, yeah, there's no best career. And it just get me thinking about, you know, I might have had that same question, you know, what career should I do at that your age? And really, I was really obsessed with planes. I wanted to be a pilot. But you know, we didn't have the funds to go and study that. And I get back on that. I'm going to bring that back up at a later stage. But yeah, that's what I wanted to do. So in my high school journey, I did two things. I did the subjects, as again, Mr. Johnson pointed out, I did the subjects that I liked. I like geography, I like chemistry. So once I got to, I think it's after third form where we do everything, and then we move into fourth form where we select, I pick all the subjects I liked: sociology, chemistry, and then I did geography because, you know, that was part of my dream. I wanted to be a pilot. Of course, we had the tough discussion as a, you know, with my parents, and, you know, we couldn't do that. So we have to shift focus a bit. At that time, I would have started to get really interested in football, and I wanted to be a pro footballer after that, you know. The sad thing about that is I never have the confidence that I have as an economist, as a footballer. And confidence is very key. That's why you remember, confidence in anything you're doing is very key. The second thing is Jamaica have a semi-professional football league. So, you know, for me to have a career in football, definitely I would have to be going overseas internationally to have a career, like to a proper career in football, a professional career. So as with some of you here, going through high school, I didn't have it all figured out. You know, I still kind of was in this stage where I was doing things that I liked, and things, you know, related to be a pilot. And then I did CXC, got some subjects, and then when I was going into sixth form, what happened now is that, of course, as I said earlier, the guidance at the time and the structure of how my high school, I went to St. Diego High, it's, you know, sciences, business, and art subjects is very rigid. So even, and it's not like now where you have an enroll J where you can have a talk like this and get different careers. no one talked about things like economists and actuary and even things like financial analysts, and it was more very traditional. So you talk about your lawyers and your doctors. So when Mikhail said that you have to focus and use the social media the right way, use it. It's a lot of information at your fingertips these days. So you have to explore these things. You want to know which careers for you. Do some digging. The same social media for your entertainment. You can use it to find out things about different jobs. People put things on YouTube about their work, how they work, what they do a day in the life of an economist. You can see if that would be something you'd probably think of doing. But anyway, then we have to go to something called a library and these things, and we have to use that thing called an encyclopedia. I don't know if you guys familiar with those things, but whenever I have information as readily available as you guys here would have. But anyway, so I say that to say, going into sixth form now, I never have this whole career thing figured out to say I was going to be an economist. What really happened was that when we had to select the sixth form subjects, naturally, what you would naturally do if is pair the CXC subjects with your CAPE subjects. And what happened there was, because of this rigid structure, I could not do geography and chemistry. So I had to select other subjects. So I selected sociology. You were able to do economics, even though you didn't have it in the CXC as a CXC subject, if you had good grades in English and mathematics. So I was able to do economics. So I selected economics, and I did chemistry because it was something I found easy. And we really had a great chemistry teacher at St. Diego, a guy called Mr. Modi. He really simplified things, and we really understand it as a cohort. Everybody in that class got good grades, more or less. And so in sixth form, really, it's because of a scheduling issue that economics kind of fell in my lap. So in doing that now, I started to go Miss Barnett, Miss James Barnett class. I remember that she really took interest in us in that class, and I think that is one of the reasons that, and economics made sense to me. So it was somehow it started to let me think about why I spent money, why I wanted certain things, why I try to unearth some answers to some questions, typical questions. And interestingly, what happened was, which a lot of people didn't have, was I went to school when the financial crisis happened. So I didn't really learn about something in theory. We were actually living through the crisis. So when we did that part of the studies, you could see what happened when, bad economic policies were being undertaken, or bad decisions were taken in economic, and what policies you would have used to change it. So we could have actually, we'll hear something in the news and we could come back to class and discuss it. So that way, that having that good teacher in Miss Barnett who give extra attention to us, having that financial crisis and trying to figure out how to kind of, in our own way, we say we're going to study economics to fix the got us interested. And I think that was one of the driving forces in me selecting this area of research. Of course, at that time I was doing it, I was just learning concepts, trying to get the CAPE subjects. So it's not that I started to build out the plan for a career. I was just trying to get to university and stuff like that. So I think the takeaway from it all is that you won't have all the answers in at this level. I would say you should not panic. Your life is about taking some decisions and learning from them, You won't take the right decisions all the time, but you should always learn from every decision you take. And when you reflect in the future, you will see, what decisions, you could probably do different, but you still learn from it nonetheless. Um, am I good with time, Mikhail?
Give us another 5 to 8 now.
Okay. Well, I guess what I would want to then go into is, more university life and experience. The thing with going to the university, um, I just looking at my guiding notes here, and some of the things that I would want to mention here is so Mr. Johnson would have reel out some stats for you. The number of institutions that are number of higher education institutions, the number of people who graduate. So you have to kind of take this. It's a lot of money to spend, and in economics we actually do. We actually map this out. That after you take your higher education, you're going to this savings, so you have negative money. And you usually live on credit until you get the career job that puts you back into positive savings, and then you get a house, a car, and some savings, some pension, and then you go back into positive, but eventually you end up in this savings again. Not to get too technical with you, because what that means, you live now, you save, and then your pension, you live from your pension afterwards. So I mean, let's remove the technicalities, the fact that a university degree is expensive, right? It's one of the biggest expenses you take on, maybe next to a house. So you want to have the best result from this. And there's a couple of things that, I would say I would have done different. And the first thing is I would have taken it a lot more serious. And by that, I mean, the university and your degree is really based on you getting a GPA that is rated as a first class degree. When you get a first class degree, it opens more doors than when you get a second class degree. So there's a couple of things you can do to ensure, apart from the obvious studying. There are a lot of things there that people like myself in the first instance took for granted, and I want to tell you not to take for granted. One of the first things is attend the classes. It's not like high school where you go into a structure where you go to your first session, then you have break, and then you go lunch. You go second session, lunch, and then your third session go home. And then it's you're in this small space. All of your teachers know you from the classes. When you go to university, you have sometimes you're in a class with 500 students. You're in a class that start 8:30. Now, sometimes you have a class from 8:30 to 10, and then you don't have any more class for the day. So it's not the same as when you'd have a full day of school. And I know it's even a bit different now for you guys who have to do virtual school. But you just imagine this whole virtual thing where you're pretty much independent. That is how university feel. Just that you're in a classroom. And sometimes, you feel the need to skip a class. But you have to remember at that stage, you have the same high school teacher who will ensure say you submit your SBA, and ensure say you come on time, and ensure say you understand. At that level, the lecturer with 500 students can't hold everybody hand. So it's up to you really to ensure that you put the effort in. There's another thing called office hours. So you have lectures, tutorials, and office hours. The lecture is a big class, 100 up to 500. Tutorial is a bit smaller, maybe between 10 and 30, 10 and 40 students. That is more where you can ask more questions, work out some problems. For us, economics is really mathematics based. So we work out a lot of mathematics and algebra and stuff like that. So in that sense, you have to go to your tutorials, go to your lectures, pay attention, do the work. But the office hours, this is an added resource. You have to use up the office hours. That's when you get a one-to-one session with your lecturer where you can say, Professor, I don't understand this. You know, I get this part. And I think that, you know, I tutored for a bit while I was doing my master's degree. One of the things, you can't go to the office hours and say, you know nothing, you know. That is not, you have to go with a specific question. If you're just blank, then you have to, well, you come up front and tell them, say, you have a problem, you need to sort this out. But you can't just give up and say, you know nothing. You have to try figure things out and go with specific questions. And it's through this now you're going to learn. Because when you ask a question, you get a way of it. They won't give you the answer. They will give you a way to get to the answer. And these are critical when you go to university. Use up the office hours. I would say, I think the third or fourth thing I have on the list is I never read enough. Now, I'm doing a PhD now in economics. And the amount of reading I do now is I can't believe that. I didn't like to read like that, you know. I really try to avoid things. I know you have to read chapters upon chapters, make arguments and put arguments together. I wish I had the time because now I am interested. I want to read more and read and take up one book and it direct me to a next book and I want to read and do these things. So now is the time. Take it up small bits and just try to read. Read something every day. Read the newspaper. So Johnson and we always have our newspaper, especially Sunday Gleaner. We read most of the Sunday Gleaner, you know, at the university and so forth. We have to stay informed, and it is a good practice for what is to come. Because if you get into that habit of reading and understanding and asking questions, you get more information. You start to ask more questions, and that is what, you know, higher education is all about. Asking a lot of questions, being inquisitive about sociology or being inquisitive about economics or biology. That is what higher education is about. The next thing is, I would say, apart from the education side, the university provides you with opportunities, as Mr. Johnson would point out, to network, you know, to learn stuff, learn skills, learn different things, to work and get work experience as well. I would say if I could change it, I would have done more. I would have gotten involved in our student representation to represent my cohort of students. I would have gotten involved a bit more as an advocate in the community. So I would say I would recommend to you to use up every opportunity. Once you can manage your time, that is important because a lot of activities will be around you. Learn time management, and from that, get active, get engaged, meet people, go to events, listen to professors talk on the things related to your subject, things that are current in the media. There's always a talk at UWI. Learn about yourself, learn about culture. There's a department there that teach you about your culture and your roots. They always have talks. You can go and sit down. It's usually free. It's a public lecture. You go and learn, pick up things, play some sports. You'll just be rounded. Get a job if you can. There are a lot of student jobs on campus. You can support your parents on the one hand, and you have it on your resume. So it's not only a degree, you leave there with a degree and some work experience. I would say some of the positives from my experience at university was I lived on a fraternity. So there are halls of residence. I went to the University of the West Indies. There are halls of residence there. So I lived on campus. And what that gave us, that whole idea of networking, that's where I met Mr. Johnson. We're still friends to this day, years after. You know, we met many people. Some are in politics, some are executives in financial institutions. Some you end up working within the world. We work with them. You know, me at Bank of Jamaica, they would come back and work together for a bit. Some are, as I said, big managers at different public institutions, private institutions. Some own businesses, some are overseas. And I think so living on campus gave me that opportunity, but that's not the only way to network. You can join, there's a, for those people who commute to campus, there's a commuting student area and a commuting student group. You know, get involved in that. There are many clubs and societies. On a Thursday, I believe it's between 2 and 5, the entire university shuts down. And clubs and societies happen. So I was in the social sciences. We had an accounting club. We had an investment club. We had the usual. You had the political parties. Had the G2K, the PNPYO. They're on campus as well. If you want to go into politics, all of these things, you can go there and network, meet people, be a part of the club, join the club's executive. These things are necessary for you to grow and develop, and they will help you when it's time to move into a career, because you have this. It's not only about the degree. You know, you need to be well-rounded to be selected as the best candidate. And I think what I would want to do is actually segue into that, if you would allow me, Mr. Johnson. Speak a little bit about post-university life.
Right ahead, sir.
So for me, and Mr. Johnson as well, we took a route where we studied and we had jobs. We had jobs on campus. So we were there getting some money, or getting some experience, working with people. And these experiences, everything from being a part of a team to being able to actually do something in a specific area. So, you know, like my year in economics, you can get experience with working in, you know, doing some analysis, getting practical experience for the job. But it's a lot more than that. It's about working in a team, knowing how to deal with having a supervisor, how that communication between you and your supervisor. You might get a chance to supervise people, how you manage that relationship. This experience is necessary for you to take on and move into the world of work. And what UA does, or universities in general, is I would describe it, and Sir Johnson, I say this all the time, it's like a bubble of Jamaica, and everything is there. And you get a chance in that bubble, if you choose to actually be a part of different elements. So you have politics, we have student politics that take place. People run for seats and you vote for them. So we have politics there, like how you'd have the bigger society. You have jobs, you know, we get paid. We have markets, we have a supermarket, we have restaurants, everything like that. And we have school. So it is like you have this somewhat of a experimental society in Jamaica where you can learn to do things at a smaller level, learn how to do them well, and then take that practice and expand it at the when you leave the university. So I think, and I will reiterate this at a later stage, that you must wring the university experience dry. Be a good student, be involved, meet people, and try to get every ounce of the university experience you can. So you can be a well-rounded candidate. So let me just wrap up, fast forward and wrap up a bit. Leaving university now, and this now maybe is where we get into the more distressing part of this story. Now, a degree alone is not enough. And Mr. Johnson pointed that out earlier. As we said, we keep on reiterating, networking necessary, communication necessary. You need to be building a profile so that when somebody in HR takes up your profile, they want to meet who is on the paper. That is the simplest way to say it. And that includes doing some sports, some activity, volunteering, community service if you can. There is also a program at UWI in particular. And sorry for the UTech people, but I'm telling you about my own experience. I can speak to you. We had a program called JamVat, I believe, where you volunteer and they would take your volunteer hours and they would use that. You can help that to pay your school fee. So you don't have to pay, you get a discount on your school fee. And what happened to me was that I finished my undergrad degree. I did a bachelor's degree in economics, and I majored in economics and statistics. I have a double major, which is, if you have questions on that, you can pick that up later. But essentially, you have two majors. So you major in statistics and you majored in economics. So after that, like most people, I thought it was automatic. You get your degree, then you did what you needed to do. So now people going to come banging down my door to hire me. That was not the case. I remember specifically, and I hope we don't get into trouble for this, Mr. Johnson, but I'm going to call names here. Just to emphasize this, and this is a true story. I'm from Linstead. I went to school in Spanish Town. At the time, Carreras was in Spanish Town. And I call Carreras every single day to the point where it seems they know my voice because I was convinced that I am going to work at Carreras. Never work out. And it defeated me to the point that I thought all I needed to do was attend university and complete it. And then I would get the job. Somebody laughing. It's serious. They know me. They say we're still in the process of, I was applying for a market researcher. They say we're still in the application process. Of course, they get thousands of applications they were going through and finalizing. Apparently, you see, my profile wasn't good enough, so I didn't get the call back for the interview. I remember Mr. Johnson, I was in a very good group in university. It was a nice network of friends. We had mature students who were a bit older than us, who could guide us and mentor us. We actually had a teacher in our group. He really guided us and because he had that mentoring thing about him being a teacher already. He was finishing up his studies. And he guided us a lot. We had people with different ideas. Sir Johnson had some ideas, I had some ideas. We had people who would have gone through the degree already and give us guidance. They would have been doing their masters. And what we did was, Mr. Johnson and I remember, we dress up nice, we print out a couple of resumes, and we went to each front desk and we hand out the letter, type up with the company address, and we type it out and we hand them out. That is what you have to do to get a job. It's not just send an email and hope for the best. You have to call and make sure your name in there, you know, because you have to remember, as Mr. Johnson say, is that what's that 1,000 of them people graduate. Everybody in Jamaica, more or less, UTech started a econ program after, but more or less, if it's 100 economists graduate or people with economics degree, 80 of them do the same degree as you at UA. The others, but at the 10 people the same degree at UTech. So you're already fighting against your classmates. Plus, as Mr. Johnson said, you did have people before you with the degree who you never meet yet. Plus, you have to remember overseas people might come in and get apply for the jobs as well. So you have to work on this profile, education, get a good GPA, get your clubs and your networking done. And get out there as well. Get out get up from around your computer and get out there and apply for the jobs, because the jobs don't won't come to you. And well, what happened was I wasn't successful after my undergrad. And I remember I went to a career day at UA invited the JDF, BOJ, Planning Institute of Jamaica. They brought them in, and I went to the Bank of Jamaica with my high school group right before I think we did Cape, the final set of Cape. And I fell in love with Bank of Jamaica. That is where I want to work. Fortunately for me, I worked there, But they presented to us, what they did. We got to speak to economists, and as a central banker, they dress in some nice suits, and I like that. I like the whole atmosphere and the idea that my analysis would inform the monetary policy. That was my vision, and I fell in love with the place. And they said to me at the career fair that to be an economist, you had to have a master's degree. So what I did was I went back to the university to do a 2-year master's degree. And again, after that, we did the same thing again. We went back I went to Planning Institute, Development Bank of Jamaica, and I drop off new resumes, updated portfolio. Now I have a updated profile. I have a master's degree now. And I got the chance to go to Bank of Jamaica on an internship. And eventually, I did some good work, I believe, because then I got a contract, and then after that, I got a permanent job. Now, before you wrap me up, Mr. Johnson, what you will realize is that more often than not, you'll get a contract job, which is a short-term job, 1 year. What happens is, while it is a job, yes, you don't have the same opportunities as when you have a permanent job. For instance, when I had my contract, I couldn't just go and get a car loan like that. Things are a bit different now, but at that time, you couldn't get certain credit. You didn't have, and so it was still even a struggle, even with a master's degree, but you still have to, I make this point because you have to start somewhere. So I took the chance to start with the contract rather than wait, because there's no perfect time to do anything. Sometimes the opportunity comes and you have to seize it. Listen, don't let anybody tell you that this is the route to get to your career. There's no one way to get to your career. I never figured out what type of economist I wanted to be until my second year in my PhD program. That's when I figured out what exactly I was passionate about. As Mr. Johnson said, you have to live it, be in it to figure it out. You won't figure it out. Sometimes some people might have an idea and do it, and this is what they wanted to do. But more often than not, as Mr. Johnson says, when you're in it, you try things. I tried tried this aspect of economics, tried another aspect of economics, and I finally finalized which one I wanted. I think Mr. Johnson, I will pause here and make you utilize the chat and really make this more fulsome for the students. Maybe they have some questions, but we can then pick up other stuff at the end.
Yes. All right. Thank you so much, my friend Michael Marshall. It was a long one, but he really walked you through the entire experience. And that is what I wanted, because we have persons here at different levels. We know that we have persons from grade 9 right up to the university level. So I'm sure that he would have hit at points that matters to some person. I can say, hey, I'm actually at this place right now. Now, you see how he had pretty much reiterated what I had said before in terms of expectations. Life is never a straight line, people. It's never a straight line. You have to go up, down, in between, all the way to really get where you want. So that is why I had said before that the odds is pretty much almost stacked against you when you leave. But it's just for you to understand the right. Don't try have no pie in the sky, the supernatural expectation. Just understand that, hey, this is what life is about. This is how I'm going to adjust it. And we've been through it. We walked the path. We different jobs, and you see how key and how much you spoke about relationships, about networking. Those are tools that will help you guys. So just getting the certificate, getting the degree, getting the subject is just the start. That's just the foundation. But to get where you want to be, explore, read, understand. Right now, not to me have no passion. We don't want to hear that as yet. Just read and understand that how it works, people who run things, how a particular career field operates, and all of that. And from that, then you will have to make some decisions. So, as Mr. Marshall said, this is time for Q&A. You can type in a question. I'll read some of the questions and answer. This is a long one from Nayoka. Mr. Marshall can help us in answering this one. So Nayoka said, hello, I'm asking for some advice on my career choice. I'm doing a major in general management and a minor in marketing. Probably I want to adjust this like sentence by sentence, because it kind of, well, not so long, but let me do that. So general management and marketing, business field. One thing I always mention to students wanting to know what is it to do. The business field as it is, there are a lot of persons in business. Know that from now, right? Don't think that you're the brightest on numbers or all of that, so therefore I'm going to be successful. If most tertiary institutions, from your post-secondary institution and your general institution, you're in some degree program in business that is offered. So you'll find that there are hundreds and thousands of persons pursuing areas in business and so forth. And this is a particular area in which experience will matter a lot, because it will give you that particular advantage. Mr. Marshall, he's in the business field, specializing in e-commerce, and I'll tell you there are a lot of persons competing for these particular area. So this is one of the tools that you're going to use in terms of ensuring you find the right spot. So know that there's a lot of persons, but you can find a niche in terms of those particular area. I'm planning to establish my own business. However, I would like to enter the hotel industry. As I always said to students, I've said it in my speech before, whatever you do, always try have an entrepreneurial mindset in whatever career field. There's somewhere you can start something for yourself. So it's good that you have that sort of entrepreneurial mindset. But mind you, a lot of persons will consider entrepreneurship because one, they don't want to work for nobody, or they think it'll be a bit easier. It's harder. The fact is that being an entrepreneur is harder because everything is up to you. Unlike your 9 to 5, you may work 9 o'clock, come home 5 o'clock, and once you do what you have to do, you get paid at the end of the month. With an entrepreneur, there's no guarantee. You have to put in the work. You are the entity, right? So just understand there's a lot of work that comes in. So I want to study tourism because I don't want to be, I would like to enter the hotel industry. I'm not studying tourism because I don't want to. So this person is pretty much conflicted, which I know that most of you will be at this point. And you heard Mr. Marshall mention there are so many options, and it is now that he's doing his PhD. When at his second, he cannot have an idea, right? So as I said before, I won't say, okay, do this instead of that. The key to the research in terms of hotel management, you'll find that there are a number of entities. I know for one, like Sandals, in fact, actually train their own managers. So you really don't necessarily have to have an well, I'm speaking specifically for like the Sandals group, right? You don't necessarily have to have an education or degree in that area. They actually train their own persons. But if you want to set up a business or work in that industry, that is your route, because it's almost like you're creating a niche right there. You're interested in hotel industry, you want to be an entrepreneur. Who knows? You might just start by opening a little guest house or something. So, and I said, well, I understand you're saying you don't want to focus. I always tell other persons that be careful and think carefully in terms of the degree you choose. This will be what, 3, 4, or 5 years, and it is expensive. Understand that there are certain fees. You don't necessarily need a degree. You could probably do a certificate, find a management course in certificate. So if you don't want to limit yourself, but you can have a field, you can do a 6 month certificate. So you have a degree in management or stuff, do a certificate in hospitality management or something that you'll have at least that kind of qualification. So you don't necessarily need to do a degree. If you want to have a feeling or understanding, there's always that internship, but consider a certificate in that particular area. Could you advise me of directly to someone who can? All right. So I that is my thing. I don't know what Mr. Michael, if you had anything to add to that particular query.
Well, so I was trying to find the actual one in the chat, but you said that they're doing general management studies.
Yeah, she had send it to me directly, so you may not be able to see.
And
Yeah, so she's doing general management and a minor in marketing, but she's want to be an entrepreneur, but she have a little liking for tourism, but you know, really want to study tourism because she don't want to focus the kind of there. So yeah, that's her profile pretty much.
Okay, right. Well, I think if you're unsure and you're doing the general management studies degree, that is fine. What you do is maybe do, if you can, I'm not sure if they do an elective in tourism and see if so you can understand what the tourism people do. So you find an elective in tourism. An elective, for those who don't know, is a course that in your degree you have set courses that you have to do, and then you have some elective slots, so you can do any course from anywhere in the university. Right? So it allows you to be more rounded. So I would say you could choose to do a tourism elective and do entrepreneurship. If you're at UWI, the entrepreneurship, there are some new venture creation, I believe the course is called. It teaches you how to do like business plans and stuff and how to build those things. So even if you want in the end to start your own business, you could do these courses as elective, still end up with a general management studies degree. But all of your free slots that you have available, you do some marketing and you do the other areas that you're interested in as well.
All right. What I want to mention, you may hear Mr. Marshall mention a lot about UA, so it's not a bias thing because we had that particular experience. But most tertiary institutions, especially if you're business focused, will follow that same pattern. One of the things that we offer is to a service. It gives you information in terms of all the tertiary institutions existing. So that also could be a part of your research. Find out which institutions exist. We'll provide a list and find out what is it that they offer. Right, so that is a part of doing sound research. There are a lot of options out there. All right, so let's jump to another question. Hi, my name. All right, let me not say the name. Oh, he sent to everybody. My name is Shaloy. I'm very confused as what I really want to be. I'm a fourth former at Clarendon College. Big up CC. I want to know what career I can do with these subjects that I am doing now: human and social biology, agricultural science, integrated science, maths, English, show management, EDP and religious education, physical education. All right, first I want to hit on the point. Mr. Marshall, think about some area, because this is a well-rounded group of subjects. There's so many things you can do right here. Almost every area has a subject. But what I realized, and again, one of the primary reasons for this platform is that a lot of you will select subjects because we just like a particular subject at the third form level going into fourth form. But it is important that at this stage, you have to have some idea. Remember, we're not saying that you will have the answer, but you have to have some idea. And this is why it's important. Oftentimes, when you're ready to enter tertiary institution or select a particular career field, you'll find that the respective universities would want specific subject areas for you to be qualified. So for example, you may have a person who say, boy, I want to be an engineer. So you're going to know that when he reach sixth form, fifth form, or so forth. So he's ready to apply for university. And what he find is that, boy, they don't do physics. You have to have physics. You understand? So that is why it's very important that you have some idea. So you won't have the clue, but the subject areas must make sense. as you'll be flung right out there in the ocean and you're not showing. You can't go somewhere because guess what? You may shot one subject, you may shot one. So have some idea in terms before you make those particular selection. Now, with this year, this is a really a combination. There's so much you can do. For human and social biology, you'll find though, and I'm not certain why I hope I won't be misquoted here, but human and social biology, you'll find that there are a number of some institutions, not all. Um, if you plan to do something in the sciences, that you want to go into medicine or you want to major in, they really don't consider human and social biology like that. I don't know why, but they prefer the straight sciences. But I think there are some schools that if you want to do nursing or some sort, is accepted. So again, the importance of researching the subject area that you're doing from now so you can make sound decision. Agricultural science, agriculture is an area that I am passionate about. I really and truly plan to go in agriculture at some point in the very near future. There's great areas here. I don't think about agriculture as just fark and who and dig. There are so many areas in agriculture and so forth. I have a good friend. I hope to bring him on this session soon, that he works at the Sanchez International Airport, and food that comes in the country is responsible for testing them and all of those sort of area. So that's a particular area. Home management, there's a hospitality area there, the hospitality area.
Sorry, can I repeat because you broke up.
Repeat. The home management area, you're pretty much looking at the hospitality area there. So foods, clothing and textile and hospitality management, you'll find a lot of career areas akin to that particular area. Physical education will assist you in turning physical education. In fact, one particular area, I don't want to show my bias, but all of these areas you can teach as a teacher, because these will be basic particular areas. So you literally can look on those as options. Literally all the areas, right? Your physical education, religious education, you have teachers in these areas. So teaching is also one of those great ideas. And having a degree in education generally is also an option there. So there's a lot right here. To make specific, because we don't want to stay too long, I'm going to ask that you message us. You would have had the NROJA WhatsApp number, and we'll have a little session with you closer in which we can give you some specifics in terms of all of that, because there's so much you can do right here, and it will be all depending on the combination you have going in. So you probably don't want to do agriculture, but I don't know, there are some institutions that may want an additional subject area or support. So the number, the pass key to enter Enroll JA, that's our WhatsApp number, so you can just read that. But I hope that kind of help in some way. There are a lot you can do. But for now.
Also, Mr. Johnson, I would add that one of the things I believe might be able to kind of help you narrow it is if you identify companies or jobs that companies or jobs or areas that you would think fits you or suits you. Do a summer, try to get a summer job or try to get a little bit of work experience just to see if you like it. And you know that adds as work experience as well. And you can figure out whether this type of thing is your thing. Because as Mr. Johnson said, this is pretty much touching almost all aspects.
Yes.
It's hard to narrate down into a
It's hard. It's not a focused area at all. Yeah. All right. Good afternoon, sir. I'm about to begin university. I applied at CMU, but I am indecisive about whether I should do a Bachelor of Science in Logistics, Customer and Immigration, or Port Manager. I'm therefore requesting some advice on the best program to pursue. I would prefer a degree that does not limit me. You have clearly the fact that you're focusing on CMU and this particular area, the whole logistics thing comes into being, because logistics is a very wide area. So you clearly have a narrowed space right here. The fact is that you say you want to go to CMU. We'll try again. You can WhatsApp us. I'll try to get a CMU representative for that person to kind of narrow down those particular area right there. But the advantage with these areas is that and with that particular institution is that it's a very niche, it's a niche area, right? It's a niche area. And there are a lot of opportunities. I know a person doing very well. In fact, they are one of the few areas there right after university, persons usually go about asking for these persons, especially at the airport. Naturally, the shipping industry, customs also area take a lot of persons in these particular field. One thing to remember also that don't consider that just because you have a particular degree that you'll necessarily be limited to that particular area, right? The experience counts a lot for most area, but you already have a focus. You already have a focus in the shipping, and I think that based on what is taught in this particular area, you'll actually get a bit of everything in this field, if you understand what I'm saying. But for the CMU, we're trying to get somebody from CMU on board. That is one of the things we want. Persons, you can just indicate what is the career area that you want to go in, and we get persons within that particular area to give you specific suggestions and options that you can pretty much go in. But you're pretty much you narrow down this area pretty much right here. Because I think most of these particular programs do the same thing. You'll get bits and pieces of everything in there, right? I am currently studying geography, great, history, French, MBE, mechanical. What are some of the possible career paths for me? I am a digital artist and would like to be a pilot or a developer or eco-friendly ships, airplanes, and other advanced gadgets in the future. Whoa, you want to do too much.
But,
You want to do
you know, I want to say something about that, because
it sounds like you.
yes, let me point out, and Mr. Johnson and I had this conversation maybe 2 weeks ago. Not because you are an economist, don't mean you can be a pilot. So you can always, it's a whole heap of life you have a plan to live. So because you have one career and that is what pay the bills, don't mean in time you can do a couple things. I am actually, when the lockdown started, I was doing my coaching license. So I'm still in trying to pursue this football career as well. We were talking about actually doing ground school in piloting, Mr. John, if you recall, on the weekend.
Yes.
So don't believe that if you have a couple of things that you're passionate about, if you choose one career, the rest I finish. One career can pay if you have the other one as well. And you can. I know people who are doctors for years and then choose. There's one guy famous at you. He was a doctor for a lot of years and then went to law school after. So don't think that because you have that combination that you just point out. You can start with one now, start with probably the most marketable one now, so you're stable in life, and then pursue the rest. Maybe you won't be a commercial pilot, but you can fly plane.
One of the things also why research is important, and one of the things that persons use to narrow it down, think about cost. How much will it cost me to pursue a particular degree? And when I pay that money, what is it like when I'm going to get a job, right? That
Return.
is something you can do. Remember, I said the line of life is never straight, it's crooked, right? So don't get stressed out. In fact, it's after some person actually start their degrees that they have an idea exactly what they want to do. So for now, just get the CSEC. Get the CSEC in order, right? Narrow. The key is just to narrow down. Don't try to know this is exactly what I want to do. Just narrow it down to a particular area, then you pursue, and then you'll see other alternatives then and there. You want to be a pilot, you don't have to be a pilot. No, a grown school, if you get the money, I think it's $6 million or so roughly to pursue a pilot. You can do that in 2 years. A lot of persons do it as a chore, as a something that they just like or support. But the key, as I would say, again, we will have to assist you in that, in getting specific person to speak directly with you. And that is why we're glad we had this first session, because here you communicate more with us and say, okay, I'm interested in this. We'll get specific persons to speak with you directly in that particular career field. You have a better idea in terms of what you want to do. So don't be so. Look on the one that is closest to you, that in terms of selection based also on research, the need for that particular career field, the cost to pursue it. That is what you're going to use to narrow your thing down. And if you say, boy, me not have that sort of money right now, but we can do this, by all means pursue. You can always come back. You don't stress yourself with all of that. Hello, wait. Hello, I have to pursue. All right, this is for you, Mr. Marshall. Hello, I have decided to pursue my career as an economist. I am in the process of taking external exams, CSEC. I would like to know what it is like when it comes to the university and the process of getting the requirements, years, difficulties, and other experience. So she wants to know what is it pursuing the life of an economist.
The degree or the job or both. You can give you both. So it's the undergrad degree. As I said, I have a double major in economics and statistics. And most people who study economics major in statistics as well. So you end up with two majors. And it's simply because a lot of the courses complement each other. So when you do the core courses for economics is the same, similar to the core courses for statistics. So that is really why most people do that. Or sometimes people do economics and accounting. Um, it's really heavily mathematics based. So a lot of the work you do, and it's very it's very theoretical, meaning you learn about principles. So you don't really apply a lot of the work in the early stages, but you have applied courses. So what you do in the first year, you will do a wide range of courses. You'll do economics. They change it now. It used to be microeconomics, macroeconomics. You do principles of economics, and you do a mathematics course, which is similar to Cape mathematics. You will then do calculus, because we use a lot of calculus in economics to solve a lot of the equations that we use. And then from there you will a lot of our applied work uses matrices. So if you remember in math class, you use matrix, you add matrices and subtract matrices, multiply matrices. So you learn all of these things plus the economic concepts. So you get the tools plus the theory of economics, and then from that, that's really what you do in undergrad. Um, as it relates to the complexity of that, as I said, it's very, very mathematics based. So you have to be comfortable with mathematics, or what you need to, be willing to learn a lot of mathematics. In terms of what the job looks like, um, we we do it's a technical job, so you do a lot of analysis. You have to be able to write. You can't be an economist if you can't write, because whatever technical stuff you do, you need to translate it into something understandable for the policymaker, the person who takes the decisions. And you have to communicate well. So at BOJ, what we do is we usually evaluate the economy at a certain point. So every quarter we would evaluate the performance of the economy. And then we try to also forecast the future performance based on what we know from the last quarter that we just evaluated. And then that evaluation then leads into the central bank taking a policy stance related to the inflation, the general prices in the economy. Apart from that, we do research. Each year you design a research project, an individual research project, and you write a research paper, which pretty much, it's usually you take an issue, figure out a way to, take an issue, find a question that you want to, investigate. And then you come up with a way to investigate that question. Usually you get some sort of economic data to evaluate the question, and then you then recommend policy action. Once you do those research, you then usually you present them internally to your peers, different economists in different departments, and chances oftentimes you get to travel. So you go to other central banks, you would normally travel around the Caribbean to different conferences. We sometimes get to go to Mexico, Chile, with Latin American central banks host us a lot, and you present your research there, and get feedback on how to improve your research, and sometimes you get job opportunities. So that's really, and Mr. Johns, I forgot to point out earlier, one thing what was a error on my part was to prioritize Spanish. I used to take Spanish for granted, you know, and it is now so important, especially if you want to work in Latin America, to have a second language, you know, because every international agency that supports Latin America, you will have to more often than not either work on a particular country that might speak Spanish, or you might be based there from time to time on different missions to meet with different stakeholders, and they won't pay for you alone to have a translator when everybody else are able to speak Spanish. So I would say, you know, don't take it for granted. You know, if you can, you know, do it now. I am going to take a Spanish class now where I had it in school for free. So, you know, utilize the opportunity because I have to pay for it.
All right. I would have really helped you a little bit. And again, you can message us. One of the benefits of this session is that the presenters we have there, this is where you can start building a network. We're speaking about network. You want to be an economist, we can speak to Mr. Michael on a different platform. He can further help guide you in that area. So we'll go to some of the questions. We know that some persons are waiting. We had promised an hour, it's going to 2 hours. We need to wrap up. We want to do this before curfew, right? Although I know nobody is traveling much. So let us see now. Good night, sir. I want to be a physical therapist, but I don't really know the subjects. No, physical therapy is pretty much a science area, right? So get ready to do your biology, chemistry, physics, maths, English, basic. You will need those. That's a science subject area, maybe science based. So at the basic level, you will need those in that particular area. So biology, chemistry, physics, mathematics is always a good choice. Good afternoon. I want to go in the logistics field, but I'm indecisive because when you hear logistics, everyone is thinking about CMU. So I'm wondering if I am making the right choice to do a bachelor degree program at UCC in logistics and operations management. If UCC offers a degree in the area, then pursue it by all means, or CMU. What you need to look on is the accreditation. I'm sure a lot of persons have heard about accreditation. Accreditation is pretty much like this official stamp of approval given to a university in Jamaica. The granting institution will be University Council of Jamaica, that the programs are legitimate. It covers everything that needs to be done. So it's hardly about where you do. If it is that they have a program, what you need to consider are the programs accredited. So if it's accredited by all means, I know a lot of persons consider CMU because it's probably the main area in terms of, because they are heavily focused on logistics. But you can have general institutions that do more than one area. So CMU is a niche, but you may have the same programs at UCC. So the key is just to consider whether or not those programs are accredited. That's the major choice. And if they do the same thing, then by all means, right? This is where again you consider factors like cost and travel and all of this sort of thing. So there's no, once the institution offers it, check the accreditation. That's the main thing you need to check. Good evening, sir. I was wondering if it is wise to do a marketing and communications degree in 2021. Like, do you think it will be marketable in the future? Of course. Yes, there's a lot of talk about robots. Uh, it's always good to understand what the world is developing into, but we still exist, and there are some things, at least up to this point, I don't think robots going to change. Marketing and communication is an interactive thing. In terms of what you have to do, though, you have to consider the developments in the era. So what you'll find is that most institutions are offering what is called integrated marketing and communication. So when you're deciding to do all of that, ensure that it is heavily social media based, social marketing, and so forth. So look on the developments in those in particular area. So consider integrated marketing, where it is a combination of your public relations, TV, radio, and so forth, because most persons are moving in that area. So yes, it is marketable, but ensure that the program offered, it covers more than just the standard marketing, because everybody is evolving in those particular areas. So consider, as I said before, integrated marketing and communication in terms of that. That's always necessary. It's always a necessary tool, right? I'm currently studying geography, history, French. Oh yeah, we had
Okay,
answered that
I
already.
actually have some as well in direct message as well.
Okay, go ahead.
Nicole asks, would I encourage economics over general management? Of course, I study economics, so I would always say to go economics from that side. But it depends on what, you know. This is the one that I think you have to ask yourself. Economics gives you skills to be an economist on the one hand and a researcher on the other. I think general management prepares you with skills to, you know, climb the ladder in terms of um, being in in being technical persons in business. So you know you learn tools and frameworks to implement businesses and move on to masters in business administration, and then you, of course, that with your experience turns you into executive managers. Economics gives you skills to be, as I said, an economist outright, or you have skills that you can apply into general research. So I think if you can use this answer to kind of see what you would want to do differently. The thing with general management, I will always suggest that you do general management with a minor in something, or if they allow you to major, double major, you major with something else, because it's a general degree. You still, you don't have, you can fit in many different areas. So you know, to the extent where that would give you an advantage, I think it would if you did something else with it.
All right. All right. Thanks for that. All right. I want to wrap up at 7:45. I know I may not answer everything. So if I didn't read out your question, you all have our WhatsApp number. Just send it to us, and we'll still reply to you off air. But we want to wrap up this. We don't want to carry too long if I don't make that. So I apologize for not answering on air, but you can personally send us that message, and we will definitely reply to you there. So this person is saying, I am in fifth form doing the three sciences: Spanish, POA, food and nutrition, infotech, maths, English. I want to become a surgeon, but not an ordinary surgeon. I want to have different incomes. So I choose these other subjects. I do not want to just have a degree in medicine. So how can I get other little degrees, certificate or stuff? Even maybe own a business. So this person wants to do a lot. So he wants to focus on the sciences, but he wants to have his additional income, maybe own a business, which is not a bad idea. In fact, this particular company slipped me. All right, there's this investing company called First Rock. One of the major founding partners there is actually a doctor, right? He invests in a lot of companies, so it's possible. But what you need to understand is that in pursuing a degree, you don't go to university to directly do surgery, right? You'll have to do a medical science degree first. So your first study will be as a medical doctor, as a general practitioner. So you'll do five, at least for out here in Jamaica, you do 5 years of study. One of the major things to consider is the cost, right? The cost for a degree in medicine is what, over $3 million per year, and for 5 years. And at the end of that study, you are a general practitioner. After you become a general practitioner, then you begin to specialize in your particular area. So that is how the process goes. So wherever the another person who spoke about pathology, you won't go to study pathology directly. You'll have to be a general practitioner first. So you know the requirements: maths, chemistry, physics. There's no going around that at all. Biology, of course, math, chemistry, physics, biology, you can't go around that. But there's first study to be a general practitioner for 5 years, and then after your study, some persons may choose to practice first, some may go directly into their specialization. Then for another 3 to 4 years, you specialize in the particular area. So for now, have an idea what you want to do, but don't be too caught up, because what you realize, a lot of persons after, well, during their study of medicine, they'll find other areas that they find interesting. Right. So we're not saying that it will happen to you, but just understand that first, I'm going to be a GP. It is in your study that you'll find other specialized areas you wouldn't even have thought about. So don't get too caught up in the search. If you want to be medicine, you'll be a doctor and so forth. And I always say, certificates are always good if you have the time. You can open a business with doctors who open pharmacies. They are business persons. You have a company called Medical Disposables. So you can actually have business within the medical field, even specializing. So just consider for now, focus on just getting those sciences, the biology, chemistry, physics, and so forth. And then know that you'll have to be a GP first, and after then you do all that. So just to showing you the trend. So don't get too caught up on the surgery thing at this point. Hi, my name is Sean Palmer. I'm currently in grade 10. I want to be a pathologist. I choose subjects human and social biology, Spanish, principles of business, chemistry, physics, mathematics, English, IT. Just want to know if you think this is a good feel. And yeah, pathology. The reality, the interesting thing about pathology in Jamaica is that there's always a need for pathologists in Jamaica. I think we have about 4 in Jamaica, but paying a pathologist is a lot. So you don't get a lot of pathologists employed, at least in Jamaica. But again, have that in mind, think about it, read more about it, but focus on saying that, okay, I'll have to do my medical science degree. But you'll find out a person who will start up wanting to specialize in this particular area, but after continuing it, maybe that is not for me. So yeah, that's just my quick thing. There's always a need, but it's stressful. And a lot of persons, even before even specializing, realize that the medical field is not for them. It's a very stressful field. So as I said before, do some more research on it, real research, glean a newspaper research, hear pathologists talk, hear them talk about the challenges that they have, the cost to pursue, and you can use those kind of tools to help guide you in terms of pursuing that area. But for now, just ensure that you get this. And you have to remember, to pursue these areas, your grades have to be ones. Maybe you'll get through to twos to focus in these, to actually get through for these areas. So yeah. In addition, I have this was all right. Let me move along. Somebody said we are currently doing matrices. It's an irony. I think that's making reference to Mr. Michael. This is a very wide topic, but I would like to pursue a field in agriculture, not to become a farmer. What subjects do you think I should work on? Agriculture is considered a science field, right? And I'm glad they have zone in. Visit CASE, College of Arts, College of Agriculture, Science, Education, I think. Yeah. College of Agriculture, Science and Education. Go on their website. I'm sure that they'll have a list, because that's pretty much the main agricultural school in Jamaica. But agriculture is considered a science subject. So it's good to have agricultural science. Biology and chemistry is always a plus. Because I realize that you say you don't want to go in the field and all of this. You're pretty much looking at the science aspect of agriculture. So those are good. So agricultural science as it is, biology, chemistry is a good mix if you want to do that. But go to CASE. We'll try to get a representative here and they can show you in your particular area. But that's my advice to you. I'm currently doing some studies, pure maths, physics, computer science. I first want to be an economist because I did econ at the CSEC level and love it. However, I changed my mind to come sci, but now I am not so sure. Now I'm thinking about cybersecurity. Whoa, this is a lot. I know I want to go into technology. What are the subjects for a cybersecurity major? I recently started thinking about this career. So the cybersecurity, that's a IT base, IT and English, a foreign language can always go, but those are just heavily IT based. Mathematics by default, right? But cybersecurity is better, either IT based kind of thing. You'll find that a lot of persons enter that field even through the police force. So some persons will join the JCF and then start to specialize in that particular area. But it is a heavily IT based particular field. So you want to consider IT and those particular subjects.
Interestingly, right, as well, Mr. Johnson, a lot of the major persons who contribute to economics were they studied mathematics, physics, because a lot of the concepts are this they apply similar physics and mathematics concepts to economics. So I think those courses would make you a very good economics major. But if cybersecurity is really what you want to do, you can do computer science and economics. A number of people did that combination. And keep it general and then specialize after your degree in cybersecurity. So you could still have your degree and then do a certificate in cybersecurity.
All right. So I promised that I have to cut out at 7:45, but we have so many questions here, so don't be disappointed. So I'll give you 2 options now. The plan was to do this alternative weeks, but I see a lot of persons have a lot of questions here. So I'll give you 2 options. WhatsApp us your questions. Just send it by WhatsApp, all your questions. And 2, we'll host another session next week, early next week. We want to make up for these persons. I kind of underestimate the amount of queries that will be coming in. So you have holidays next week. In fact, next week is Ash Wednesday. So in that, by Wednesday or Thursday, we'll host another session. We'll send out another blast to you guys. And so most of you would have had emails and WhatsApp. So we'll send out when we'll have a session. And that session will be purely for Q&A. So we won't have any presentation. So you have that option. Send us via text message or you can wait until next week, and you can even still join the next week. We will answer more of these particular questions, right? Because some person had even contacted us before and had promised them that we will answer in this particular session, but realized that, boy, it's kind of overwhelming. So send back the same question, send it to the WhatsApp number, and we'll send you a blast via WhatsApp to tell you when we have another session like this, and it will be pure Q&A, and we'll do it a little bit earlier, especially next week that you'll have holidays, so we'll be able to do that. So this is our wrap-up session. Thank you so much, guys. As I said before, I pretty much underestimated the amount of queries that will be coming in, but we still want to ensure that we answer as much as possible. We don't want to leave you stranded. We are here for you. The platform exists to help you guys in terms of challenge your way. Also, send us a message in terms of the careers you want to go into. We can find persons in that particular career field that can answer some questions more directly in terms of their own experience. So you can send us that sort of information. We try to get a few more persons on next week that will kind of have a mix, a blend of person, probably somebody in business, in the sciences, and so forth, so they can help. So it will all be Q&A. They'll be here just to answer directly your question. But for now, you can also send it via WhatsApp. So thank you so much, guys. We really appreciate you being here. Again, watch out for the messages when we'll have this session again. And please encourage persons to join. Tell them join www.enrollja.com. Join as a student if needs be. And let us just let everybody win in this particular session. We promise to send you more content. Remember, we had sent out some emails regarding scholarship. Check those scholarships. By next week, we'll be sending out some more. What I will do, Mr. Marshall,
yes,
it seems like you have some questions right here. Let me tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to give Mr. Marshall control. So those, you can send some questions directly to him. If he can't answer it, he'll let me know. But I know that there are some persons interested in the business field and especially in economics. So I'll leave the window open for him. So he'll continue to work with you in the floor. But I'll have to take a break for now, right? Still, if you wish, send us all of that and look out for us sending you some more blasts. So the window will be still open for Mr. Marshall. So you can send the messages either to everyone. I think he'll be able to see it directly to Mr. Marshall, right? So that's it for me, guys. Really appreciate it. And we'll see each other again shortly, right? Thanks much. Mr. Marshall, if let me you hear me, Mr. Marshall?
Yeah.
You can read out some of the questions. Like persons are here, so you can read them out and probably you can respond to them. So remember, those sent to Mickey, those sent to Enroll JA. If you have questions, you can directly to Mr. Marshall private if you wish, or send it to everyone.
Yeah, there's a general question here as to how do they someone is asking here if how to get in contact with me. I assume that you would have registered with Enroll J. So if you have done that, then they will then make that connection to me.
All right, so I'm sending in the subscription information again, just to remind persons on the WhatsApp number, just in case persons are not having it. So I'll send you the WhatsApp number now. So it's 876 541 876 rather 579 4174. So 876 579 4174. Right. So as I said before, the floor is all for Mr. Marshall, and